And we're live. Hi everyone, this is Amateur Gamer, and then we're returning to Civ 5 Vox Populi. And yes, a new version has came out. This is the October 8th version. There's some not major changes. It's more, well, we'll discuss them as they go because I don't have it memorized. So there are quite a few changes regarding buildings, mostly late game buildings. Like pretty late game. If you don't play that far, it probably wouldn't affect you that much. So first, we have medical labs. So medical labs. So apparently, for medical labs, now who's local specialist? So there was talk on the forum how medical labs seems really weak. And so now they have been changed. It doesn't say here, huh? Because on the log notes, so it says medical lab now changes city population by 2 instantly. So your city should grow by 2. But it doesn't state it here. I'm not sure if it's... I don't see it. Either it's not applied or I don't know. It is medical lab, right? I mean, one of the changes was applied, but the other one wasn't. So before it was +1 of yields for, I think, scientists and engineers. So now scientists, merchants, and engineers get +2 of their base yields. So if you work specialist, this is actually not a bad one. So I don't see... Either it wasn't implemented where the population grows by 2, or I don't know. Maybe it's just not in the description. It's not always updated immediately. And wind plant and hydro plant. So we have wind plant and hydro plant. So now you get double the yield. So before it was +2 production, science, and food on every town next to the river, and +2 production, science, and gold on every grassland and plains. Now it's +4. Will that make a big difference? It comes pretty late. And plus, both of these needs aluminum, which isn't that abundant when you think about it. Especially when submarines requires aluminum. I guess it's just a matter of choice, like do you want those or not. Next, we have factories. So, the factory change is an interesting one. So, this is encouraging you to build factories for wide empires. Because in addition to what it has, it also, so each factory gives an extra production to all other factories. So if you have 5 total factories, you get 5 extra factories just for the fact that you have 5 of them. You have 10, you get 10. So more the better. And since coal is not needed for naval units, I guess that's a pretty good incentive. But yeah, I'm still not sure how strong. I mean, for order, this is pretty strong because you get more production for internal trade routes, and once you get the Iron Curtain, I think it's called, it gives you a boost to your internal trade route. It starts adding up. Next, we have broadcast tower and stock exchange. So before it was, +1 yield for every 5 citizens, which is a very low yield at this point. So now it's +1 for every 2 citizens. So if you build the stock exchange and the broadcast tower in your capital, it's going to be a very powerful. Yeesh. Especially if you go freedom, you build a broadcast tower in your capital. You get the extra tourism and the extra percentage in tourism and the extra flat tourism. Because at that stage, what your capital is what, like 20. Let's say, yeah, 26 pop. I think it's normal. 26. That's 13 flat tourism. That's half of what Crystal Redentor gives, and that's a wonder. So yeah, that's interesting. And then the stadium one, nobody cares. +1 golden age points for every 4 citizens. Usually you can or get close to having continuous golden age. So the extra golden age points doesn't matter. Now if it gives more yields during golden age, that would be more worthwhile, but I think that would be too powerful. Anyways, next. The reason why I loaded up Poland is because the Ducal Stable had a slight improvement. So if you know, like for the circus you complete it, you get what, 150 culture. Now if you complete the Ducal Stable, you get 100 culture from it. So it's not bad. I mean, you're already prioritizing it, and you get some extra culture to help you get policies a bit faster. Not bad. A slight buff. Does it make this great? I don't know. I'm not like if you get lucky, you could get quite a bit of gold and production, but it's a bit too luck based. Like this for me is kind of a A-, B+ tier. In certain situations, very nice. Other situations is pretty meh. So next. Yes, the wonder. Now, people were complaining, like, if you get, what do you call it? If you complete imperialism, you get the unit upgrade discount from autocracy ideology, and then you get the old Pentagon, which gives you more reduction in upgrade costs. You could upgrade all your units by 1 gold. No joke. So what ends up happening is now the Pentagon has the same ability as a terracotta army. In addition to more likely to disrupt unit production in enemy cities. So I know. So in the forum, there are talks about how wonders should be unique and they shouldn't share the same thing. I kind of agree with that. So the developer says that he has plans of changing the Terracotta Army. I will admit, the Terracotta Army is at an awkward stage of the game. Because if you beeline for it, you won't have that many units. So, I mean, the AI doesn't care. They'll get all of their units. I mean, if Terracotta Army gets changed and this keeps its current one, I think it'd be interesting. But only time will tell. So, next, for difficulties. Actually, I do need to look at the form. So, the main idea is that there was discussion of how a worker favors certain starts a lot more. So certain AI generally starts like going very strong, right? If they have plains or floodplains or grassland beside rivers, they could get farms, and those allow their city to grow a lot faster. They could start selling a lot sooner, and certain luxuries could be connected. Like for example, if they have a mining or a camp luxury, they just need one tech and then they can already improve it, and that just allows them to snowball a lot faster. So worker is removed. So, the thing I need to check is in the notes. It says immortal and deity, but I think it's emperor. Yeah, the idea is okay. Yeah, so I got the newer version. So now there are no free workers for any difficulties anymore. So instead, they're changing something called ABC values. Now, I can't really explain ABC in details, but the idea is that ABC represent bonuses. I think A is early game, B is mid game, and C is late game. So as those bonuses are increased, it's basically giving the AI more bonuses so that they'll be more dangerous because they'll have more gold, more production, more fruit, and all of that, more happiness, and overall that will make the game challenger for the human player, right? So I kind of like that because right now the worker could be make or break. It could either be game changing or, if the AI is surrounded by jungles or forests, they can't do anything until they get several techs, and that's eating into their gold reserve, which doesn't help. So I do really like this change. It also puts the human on a bit more of a even, like at least the start is a bit more even if they do get a few more bonuses. But yeah, before, like, being able to start farms early on is a huge difference. So next we have industry having changed. So mercantilism, if I could find it. So mercantilism before is like cities gain 10 gold when they construct buildings scaling with era. Now it's science. So the idea is industry will now get a bit more science. I mean, they don't really need gold. Industry is pretty good on gold. And next, protectionism. Now for this, you get plus 10%. So before, this one only gives you 2 additional trade routes and internal yields increased by 33%. Now you also get plus 10% food and science in cities during We Love the King Day. So I guess if you want to go peaceful wide and focus on We Love the King Day, it could be pretty strong. I mean, you don't even have to focus on it. You just have to finish this and get purchase great merchants and send them to city states and do the trade mission, and you'll be able to get that and benefit. So I could see how it could benefit quite a bit. And next we have FOT. Whoops, I didn't mean to click that. FOT, before it was plus 50% yields from internal trade routes, now it's 33%. I guess it makes sense. It doesn't make sense that this gives more yields than industry. So now they're both on point, and if you really wanted to excel, you want order, because those internal trade routes will start benefiting you a lot. So next, so now for enlightenment. Before it's plus 10% science during We Love the King Day. Now it's just Golden Age. So the idea is that now rationalism doesn't care about We Love the King Day. But this cares about Golden Age. This cares about We Love the King Day. Imperialism, just conquer everything. Period. I mean, that's basically imperialism. Finally, mountain range units. So mountain range units have been changed, but I don't know their numbers. So people agree that mountain range units have been nerfed a bit too hard. Actually, okay, so the only thing that got changed is their combat strength. So what happens is, if I have an archer attack skirmisher, it will use its range combat strength. And if I attack it with a melee unit, it will use its combat strength. So with its combat strength being buffed a bit, it means that a skirmisher can tank hits a bit better from enemy melee units, though you probably still don't want to get hit by enemy spearmen. So yeah, I don't know, skirmishers in a weird spot, because right now they're not that mobile in rough terrain. I guess that makes sense. But with 4 movements, I guess on flat terrain, I mean, they are also very very situational. You have rivers, you have rough terrain, hills, and or forests and or jungles. They're going to be pretty useless. Defending, they're not bad, but honestly, would you waste a supply on them if you could just get a composite bowman that has more range combat strength? I mean, yeah, it can't really move after attack, but seriously, with, you know, so many situations where the skirmisher isn't really better than the composite bowman, I feel mountain range units just got nerfed hard, and they're not doing enough, but who knows, maybe one day. Anyways, that's it for this version. It's not huge changes, but there are some minor ones, especially for the late game. I am curious how the broadcast tower is going to affect tradition, cultural victory games. I'm curious. Anyways, I am going to end the video here. Thank you everyone for watching, and I hope you have a good one.